Yo, I'm MC Too Tall, and that's my new mic stand.
And some of y'all don't like it the way that I now spit like MC2 Dolls on the holier than thou kick. Smack your face for your blasphemous ways, and everybody they quote me like the latest catchphrase. I'm on a mission that goes beyond material, so eat this killer series, serial killer cereal. Killer for real, drop on the beer with a sound you can feel like cold hard steel. That swarm like the blood flows out of your head as I rock non-stop till I'm on my deathbed. And I can swap out a catalytic converter with a few hand tools, but I can never be murdered. Spit the rapid fire like around the shells. I got the lyrical skills that sends the devil to hell. So don't disrespect what you can't understand, cause I can still squash your brain in the palm of my hand. Stupid.
Another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given the power to take peace from the earth and to make men slay each other. For him was given a large sword.
You know, I recall a time in 2002 when I flew to Cancun with two friends of mine, one of whom was my good buddy Nick Ferrari, not the conservative British talk show host, but I have an actual friend whose name happens to be Nick Ferrari. I often refer to him as Nicky Baba, and another friend of his, who later became a friend of mine, Eddie, Palestinian kid. So we're going to Cancun. We're at JFK. We're getting ready to get on the plane and stuff. We go through the metal detector. And mind you, this was spring of 2002. So 9/11 had just happened not too long before that. And the metal detector kept going off. I kept going through that beep, 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 beep. Take this off, take that off, take your hat off, take your shoes off, take this off, take that off. Before you know it, you know, I looked like that I was the victim of some fraternity hazing or something. You know, I'm over there half naked, with half my wardrobe in my arms. And I remember the Palestinian kid, Eddie, that was with us saying, geez, John, who's the Arab? Which, you know, you could have Arabic humor if you're an Arab. But anyway, this was 2002, same year that ruthless Al-Qaeda terrorist Omar Khadr, or Khadr, I don't want to mispronounce the name now. You know how people get offended now. We don't want to offend the Al-Qaeda terrorist man. So, however you pronounce the guy's name. This ruthless murderer was murdering an officer of the U.S. Army, Sergeant Chris Spear. He killed Sergeant Chris Spear in 2002. And he was supposed to do like 45 years. He was convicted of this. He admitted to it. I guess he pled guilty. He was convicted to 40 to 45 years in Guantanamo Bay. And Obama, with his radical caliphate mentality, says, oh, no. We're going to send the prosecutor in there, work out a deal. We'll give him only 8 years. And so he did his 8 years. Mind you, we're not talking about waterboarding or anything like that. He was living in the lap of luxury, okay? You got people sprawled all across the streets of LA and San Fran who wish they could live as good as this Al-Qaeda terrorist lived, and what was supposed to be imprisonment for those 8 years, which was supposed to be over 40 years. But he did his 8 years, he got out, and part of the deal was he's not supposed to fly over U.S. airspace. It's like a no-fly zone for him, okay? He's a terrorist. Okay? Al-Qaeda became known to the greater U.S. for terrorist attacks involving airplanes. 9/11. Duh. So anyway, he's seen on a plane going from Toronto to a town called Halifax in Nova Scotia, Canada. Now you figure, okay, it's one Canadian city to another. Maybe there's some sort of treaty that Trudeau has with Canada that allows him to fly all over the place in Canada. But the way the map is and such, you have to go over northern states of the United States to get from Toronto to Halifax. So technically, you have an Al-Qaeda terrorist convicted of the murder of one of our fighting men flying over U.S. airspace. And he was actually confronted by a reporter, not just any reporter, but the founder of Rebel News, a gentleman by the name of Ezra Levant. So he didn't have all his equipment with him, so he had his cell phone with him and stuff. So he goes to confront this man, and he's got his handler, his wife, or whoever, a female, was with him, and she's trying to swat him away. He calls security, and his security is trying to take away not the terrorist, but the reporter. The terrorist is in the background laughing. I killed an American. And he's arrogantly laughing. I find it appalling. I think Americans far and wide should write letters to the U.S. ambassador to try to the U.S. ambassador to Canada, to try to get this ironed out here, to try to make sure we don't have terrorists flying over our airspace. But, this is what happened. This is what happened. And I'll go one further. Okay? Not only does Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada want to be super neutral in this fight between good and evil, but he's actually rewarding terrorists. He's apologizing to this terrorist for being imprisoned for murder. Can you say clown world? He apologizes to him and then gives him $10 million. So he's able to spend that $10 million rewarded to him to fly over U.S. airspace. Mind you, he was part of an organization that first became known, first became known by the U.S. Cole, but their biggest terrorist attack involved the use of airplanes. So can you say double clown world? Something should be done about this. But meanwhile, share this video. Could do that. Could start with that. Subscribe to my channel. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's your boy Too Tall. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. Hey, February 15th, come see me and DJ El Nene at Cafe La Notte, 2023 Stillwell Avenue in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. All right, see you then.